There is an old saying that what got you here won't get you there. And so with that in mind, in this video, I want to give you a little behind the scenes of some mindset shifts that I am personally making to grow my business from a multi-six-figure business to a seven-figure business while being a wife and a mom of three young boys. And so I hope that in sharing this with you, it will give you some ahas on things that you can implement in your own business. Now, to give you a little bit of context, I have been doing sales training and consulting since 2009. I spent the first 10 years of my career working for the largest sales training company in the world, and then left and founded my own sales consulting and training agency in 2018. And so I have spent a significant amount of time, 15 years at this point, really teaching salespeople how to sell, teaching entrepreneurs how to sell, teaching business owners how to close more deals, how to get corporate clients. And all of these things are kind of like meshing together. And now I'm at a different kind of phase in my life and quite frankly, a different phase and season in my business. So I've got my notes here. So one of the first kind of shifts that I'm making, or kind of mindset shifts that I've had recently, is that this is my business. And I know you're like, what? But yeah, this is my business. And I think as business owners and entrepreneurs, there's so much pressure from what you see on social media, from gurus. Here's what you should be doing. You see other people successful in their business, that you can look at your business one day and be like, hold on, is this the business I really want? Are these the clients I really want to serve? Are these the offers I really want to be delivering? And I talk to so many entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs in particular, where they find themselves in kind of two different boats. One boat is they've left corporate with this skill, and now they want to do that skill for themselves, kind of like what I did, right? I did sales training, and then I'm doing it for myself. And we leave because we want more time, we want more freedom, we want more flexibility, and we end up recreating the business that we left. Right? And then you get to a point and you're like, hold up. I don't know if this business is actually serving me in the way that I initially intended for it to serve. Or on the other side, that there's just so much pressure from outside forces that you end up creating a business that you don't really enjoy, right? And it doesn't even come from pressure from corporate. It's just like, well, my clients are asking for this. Or I don't think that people will pay me for this. I don't think I could work with this type of client, so I'm settling here. And you end up with a business that you don't really want. And that has just become like an aha for me. I was at an industry event a couple years ago, probably about 18 months ago, and I was listening to this panel of speakers, and they're talking. Mind you, I was like certified to resell this particular product. I had gone through the certification, had paid all my fees and dues, and I was sitting there at this conference with one of my friends, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, none of what they're talking about sounds like interesting to me. None of that like gets me excited. And I decided to part ways with him. But that has been huge for me, is that this is my business. And what I'm doing, and my business is structured in a way that serves me at my highest, it allows me to serve my clients at the highest, right? So one of the things that I have evaluated is like my offers and the clients that I'm working with, and just the structure and how I'm delivering things, and making sure that it is actually the business that I want, right? There is one side of like, you need a business that can make money, yes, but it is so much easier to be consistent and show up in that business when you're actually doing something that you love and it's aligned with your life. And I know what it's like to be on the other side of that. So I have to remind myself, like, if you don't want to sell that, don't. It's my business. If you don't want to serve that client, don't. That's my business. If I want to raise my prices and that means some people can't work with me, that's okay. That's my business. And not feel the pressure to be replicating what I see online, nor replicating like this space that I came from, which was a very traditional consulting structure that doesn't work for me in this season of my life as a mom of three young boys, right? And so owning that and being okay with that. The second kind of mindset shift that I've had, and by the way, this is in no particular order. The second one is really switching to more leveraged offers. So again, I've had a very traditional consulting structure So I've worked predominantly with corporate clients on a retainer contract, doing ongoing training where they're paying me on a monthly fee, usually for a 6 to 12 month contract, sometimes more, and speaking engagements. And that has been the bulk of my business. And while it is great to get huge influxes of cash, it is still selling my time for money, just a lot more money, right? And so I am eternally grateful for the corporate clients that I've been able to work with. I will probably always work with corporate, but I also want to have more leveraged offers that allow me to work with corporate in a different way. So when I say leveraged offers, think more products. Think about more things that are one to many. So instead of me building a sales process for one corporate client, maybe doing a workshop or maybe doing a conference or maybe writing a book specifically around that or doing a webinar or having a group coaching or membership, right? Those are leveraged offers that allow me to leverage my time, expertise, serve more people, but not necessarily increasing my time. Right? So things like courses and books. And so I'm even thinking about, well, I could still serve corporate if I want to, but it doesn't have to be me standing in front of their team or me, whether that's in person or virtual. It could be me in a course. It could be me in a book, right? And so I really got this aha when I had closed a speaking engagement for a corporate client, and they also purchased 100 books. And so I was talking to my son, and I was like, oh, Mom sold 100 books. And he's like, you wrote a book 100 times? And I'm like, no, I wrote a book once, and I sold it 100 times today. And it was like, ding, 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 right? Like, I don't have to be on a plane. I don't have to be on Zoom necessarily. There are other ways for me to take my intellectual property and still serve a corporate client, but in a way that is more leveraged. Or I can not do one-on-one coaching. I can actually do group coaching or an accelerator or a boot camp or an intensive. And so that might be something that you're thinking too of, like, how can I stop selling my time for money, regardless of how much money that is, and to really have more leverage offers that allow me to serve people 24/7, but also protects my time, my energy, my space, my freedom, and allows me to just be able to serve at a bigger and more sustainable way. Right? So that's a huge shift for me, especially like 15 years traditional consulting, to say, okay, how do I shift my perspective to align with the season that I'm in? Right? And then the third thing for me, looking at my notes here, is, and this almost feels blasphemy saying this, as a sales consultant and like diehard sales, I have put so much energy into selling and my ability to sell that I have put very little energy into actual marketing. Which is ironic because I have a marketing degree. And I did marketing for 7 years at the sales training company that I previously worked for, in addition to doing sales and consulting and training. And so it is in my blood, but I have put very, very little energy into consistently showing up and consistently marketing. I have put more energy in like hustling and prospecting and just getting in front of people and relying on my ability to sell. And so a huge shift that I am going to be making is shifting from like, I know that I can sell, but I need to put more energy on marketing and tracking and getting a consistent flow of leads and new people coming into my ecosystem, for lack of a better word, versus just how much can I close. Because that's what's going to keep things consistently flowing, especially if I'm moving from big corporate consulting packages to more leveraged offers. I'm going to need a bit more volume. So that's another $1 million mindset shift that I'm making in order to get from this multi-6-figure consulting business to a 7-figure business, while also protecting my time and energy. Number 4 is really spending more of my time on my top 5. So this is a concept that I work with a lot of leaders on when I'm working with my corporate clients, but I haven't fully like adopted for myself. And as I'm making this shift, I realize this is a shift that I also have to make. And so one of the things that I would often ask a CEO or a sales leader is, what are the top 5 things you're responsible for that brings value to the organization that you can't outsource and you cannot delegate? And every time I ask this, without fail, they're like, and they're like, let me think about that. And they usually have a couple of epiphanies. One is that they've never thought about what their top 5 things are, like they're really high value activities, or they're aware of them. They're just not spending their time on it because they're spending their time on all this other stuff. So for me, when I think about my top 5, that should be working with clients, that should be doing sales calls, that should be creating and kind of curating content, that should be doing, speaking engagements, and then kind of product creation or ideation, right? Like, I should not be the person that is actually writing the emails. I should not be the person in Canva that is creating a graphic. I should not be the person that is trying to add the text and sync it up with the music on a reel. Like, that is not in my top 5, right? Those are things that they do add value to the organization, but I can't outsource and delegate, right? I can't outsource and delegate at this point someone speaking for me or doing a speaking engagement for me. I am not ready to outsource or delegate someone doing a sales call for me. At some point I will, but these are things where I'm like, I really need to spend more time on my top 5 and then outsource the rest. So my goal is 80% of my time needs to be focused on my top 5. And then the 20% are the other things that I just can't get off my plate, that they need to be done, but they're not going to be the bulk of my time. And I find if I looked at my time right now, I'm probably spending 80% of my time on like the minutia in the weed stuff and 20% of the time on the stuff that actually moves the needle. So that's a huge shift that I want to make. And then number 5 is a little bit ironic, but it's to rest. After 2024 was a year of rest for me. And it was so funny because 2 friends that I have that don't even know each other had mentioned to me very early in the year of like resting. And they knew that my dad had passed away in 2023. I had my son in 2023, my youngest son in 2023, the day before my dad's birthday. And in January, they both sent me this message about resting, right? And physically rest, but also spiritually resting, like really relying on God. And so 2024 was the year of rest. And I found that there is just so much that happens when you're resting, right? Not only physically are you able to kind of recharge and reset, but you get new ideas, right? And you're able to serve your clients better because you're pouring from a cup that is full. So even as I'm thinking about stretching my goals, I'm not looking to work harder. I'm looking to work smarter. I'm not looking to increase my hours. I'm actually looking to work less. But that's where all these other things are coming into play. If I want more rest, that means I need to be able to outsource and delegate. If I want more rest, that means I need more leveraged offers. If I want more rest, I need to be thinking, how does my business need to be structured in this season of my life so that it serves me, so that I can also best serve my clients. So these are the $5 million shifts that I am making, kind of taking you behind the scenes in my own business as I am shifting from a multi-6-figure business to a 7-figure business, while also balancing being a wife and a mom of 3 busy boys. I would love to know in the comments which of these like resonated with you the most, as well as if there's any other topics you would love to see me cover in future videos. Until next time, much success.